Hurricane Specialist Bryan Norcross joining us.
Hey, Bryan.
We want to include you in the conversation because it is muggy. I know you didn't see it, did you?
I didn't see Bryan.
We were all on camera talking about it. It's a bit muggy in the Northeast, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We did get the newest advisory in, as Marissa just mentioned, regarding Gabrielle, a slightly weaker storm, but still zipping.
Yeah, no surprises with Gabrielle. It's on track. It's heading in the direction of the Azores. Hurricane warnings in effect there. And still a weak non-tropical version, weaker non-tropical version may impact the coast of Portugal and northwestern Spain. So all that is pretty much on track for us here on this side of the Atlantic. It's really about these two invests, both of them now very likely to develop into at least a tropical depression. That's what these percentages mean. But the consensus of the computer forecasts is just wildly that these will develop both into storms, one Umberto and the other Imelda. So which one is going to be which? Odds are that this one will become Umberto because it looks like the conditions ahead of it will get conducive to development before the left one, the Invest 94L. So let's look at all this in detail because it's unusual because of this. This is what is not just unusual, it makes the forecast very, very difficult very far in advance. A high pressure system is kind of set up over the center of the Atlantic. That's not unusual. That very often occurs, and then that's what kind of moves systems on the south side of the high, and then they want to turn on the west side of the high. That's generally the way things go in any kind of snapshot. But of course, things are moving around. The high pressure system doesn't sit in one place, and that's what we've got going on here. So let's go forward a couple of days here and take a look at where the models think this is all going to set up. The high is forecast to set up over the western Atlantic, and that kind of makes a difficult steering here. It slows this one down, and this one here can kind of get some tug from this flow out here. It's kind of blocked by the high, so it's not moving north very fast. And the high is wanting to drive these two even closer together. And the question is, how close are they going to get? Are they going to interact in some fashion? Okay, that's Friday. So right now, neither storm is expected to be super strong. And the left one, of course, is over the islands. So that's a fairly weak situation. Then we get to Sunday, 2 days more. And look what we have here. We have two storms fairly close to each other. One sitting over the Bahamas, very, very warm water. And another one in a pretty conducive situation, again, blocked by the high. And so the high is going to want to drive things toward the west here, and this neighborhood over here is going to get real crowded. So then we go forward 2 more days in the model here. Excuse me. And what you see is the storms are very close to each other. So does this one actually get picked up by a dip in the jet stream here and move north, or are they somehow closer together? Because if they get kind of close together and they're both reasonably strong, what's going to happen is this one is going to want to turn this way, and this one is going to want to turn this way. So let's say that doesn't get as far north. What it's telling us is, since this one in the model here is forecast to get pretty far north, then the influence of this one driving it back that way is not taking not really coming into play. But other models say, yes, it will. So, bottom line here. Let's get to them. There's one right there. This is 93L. Hurricane Center is 35 miles per hour, but they have gale warnings indicating there are some winds out there, 40 miles per hour or higher. Still embedded in dust, but kind of clearing out a big pocket here with less and less dust. And here you see the development area heading off kind of like this, and then maybe up like that if the high moves on out of the way. All right, but notice it's heading over into this general neighborhood over here. Okay, and then we look at the other one. This has got 30-mile-an-hour winds, is the estimate, right near Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Look at the radar, and you can see that it's all over those islands there. What can I tell you? And moving slowly across the islands. Here's the development area, very uncertain development area, but the Bahamas are right in the middle of it. All right, so how might these things interact? Let's look at the European model and see what it says. There are the two right now. We go here to Thursday. Notice they're fairly close to each other, but maybe getting a little farther apart. A little farther apart Friday. That's the interaction of the high and that other dip and so forth. And then the high kind of takes over, but notice not much movement, so not much steering going on over the weekend. This is Saturday. Sunday. Now maybe this dip in the jet stream out here is beginning to lift north. But again, if this is a strong storm, that's going to want to drive this one south. So exactly where we get into really difficult, uncertain territory Sunday. And again, Monday, the model says they're going to be far enough apart, not big interactions, at least through Monday. Farther on, boy, it gets, then it gets really dicey. You can see that there they start interacting on Tuesday because this one is holding that one south. Look how close this one is to the southeast coast. But just don't look at any details here because with all this interaction and exactly the angles of the high and the dip in the jet stream that's causing that stormy weather over the Midwest and the Dallas area, this is all uncertain this far out. But you can see that the main thing is, the certainty is that these storms are going to be jammed so close together that they could interact if they both turn into significant storms. So there's the way the tropical threat graphic looks. There's kind of pretty high certainty. We get up in here. This is through Tuesday. And then in here. But then up in this area up in here, notice the odds are all very down in the much lower range. And we even have a little kind of connection point between them because some of the models actually keep the left one quiet and kind of merge it into the right one. That does not look like the most likely scenario, but squirrely things are forecast for next week. So anyway, there's where we are right now. We're going to, this is a day-by-day thing. We're talking about all the way to next Tuesday or Wednesday here, and in an uncertain scenario like this, that's a long way in the future. Guys?
And it's a thorough explanation, which we always appreciate coming from you, Bryan. I think I asked you this exact question with Aaron. It's the process of elimination, since there is so much uncertainty. Are you comfortable enough to rule out this 94L getting into the Gulf or even meandering in the Caribbean?
Yeah, I don't see any impact here in the Caribbean, beyond the Caribbean islands right now. And by the way, I didn't mention it, but flooding is a real threat over the islands because they've already, before all this started, already in Puerto Rico have had flood advisories and flood concerns on the island because of really saturated soil, and now this is going to add to it. So beyond that, in terms of a significant storm getting into the Caribbean and the Gulf, yes, I don't see any concern there. Right now, that pattern over the eastern U.S. that has kept storms away, enough of it seems to be staying in place to divert these storms, to the north. Exactly where to the north and how close to the coast and where, that's another question. Look at this graphic up here. It has kind of a medium blue, which is down in the low range, but not the lowest range, up here in the Tidewater and eastern North Carolina. So you just don't want anybody from the mid-Atlantic all the way down to South Florida not paying attention or thinking that there is no threat. There is a threat. It's not a big threat at this point anywhere, but we just have to let this resolve a little bit, and then we'll see. Maybe we can focus the threat a little more.
Yeah, I mean, forecasting for the tropics is always complex, but there are even more complexities now that we have two potential storms that could be working in conjunction or at least parallel to each other. Hopefully more answers than questions by the time we get into Sunday especially, but we'll watch the evolution. Bryan, thanks for hanging out with us. Fox Weather Hurricane Specialist Bryan Norcross with the latest there.